Hello, welcome back to the Divided We Fall podcast. I'm Jake.
I'm Greg.
And I'm Lindsay.
And today we're doing another current events episode. Lindsay, start us off.
All right. So I want to talk about the stimulus bill. And I want to talk about what people are saying online about it and, like, how the votes lined up and all that. So for a few days, Stimmy was trending on Twitter. And basically, people were talking about how Joe Biden now owes them a stimmy. And there were a lot of memes. People were really going at it. But what I find particularly interesting is nobody was talking about how Joe Biden doesn't just owe us a $1,400 stimmy. He owes us a $2,000 stimmy. So it's a little hypocritical because, you know, his entire platform was based on giving us $2,000, not $1,400. And especially kids like me who are dependent college kids, we didn't get that $600, so I'm not getting what I was promised. There were a few posts about that, but mostly there were just a lot of memes online about the stimulus bill passing. And I also want to talk about, again, how the votes lined up. So not a single member of the GOP voted for the Democrat stimulus bill. And what's particularly funny is one senator, Senator Roger Wicker, praised the bill on Twitter, saying independent restaurant operators have won $28.6 billion worth of targeted relief. This funding will ensure small businesses can survive the pandemic by helping to adapt their operations and keep their employees on the payroll. But what's funny, he voted no for the bill. So why is he praising the bill even though he voted no? And what's even funnier is he's praising it because his Restaurants Act was amended, was one of the first amendments added to the package. So why is he simultaneously praising the bill, saying this is great, but then voting no? It's a little hypocritical, right? What do you guys
I could
think?
definitely see that, like the hypocriticalness of it. I can easily give you an answer as to why, and this is an answer that everybody will know. Party lines. He's voting with the party. He's not going to break from the party. And that's the same thing if a Democrat was on board with the Republican bill and then voted no. It's because of the party lines thing. I don't know how long this specific senator that you're mentioning has been in Congress, but especially if he's fairly new, he's not going to break from the party. Now, wasn't there some Democrats that voted against the bill as well? Wasn't there one or two in the House that voted against the bill?
Senator Sienma, she voted no, then went up to the front of the chamber, did this little curtsy and then a down, a little thumbs down, and then walked out. And that
Gladiator style.
That was whoa, what are you doing? You know?
She is Spartacus.
Yeah, right.
But what the funniest part about all of this is just the fact that after the Capitol riot, all the GOP Congress people were preaching unity, and they're like, why don't we all just work together? And then they do this. Not a single person votes for this. Even though the Democrats worked with the Republicans to add these acts, like the Restaurants Act from the senator. So it's just so funny. I'd rather them just not preach unity. I'd rather them just say they're going to go party lines than preach unity 1 second and then completely flip and be like, no, F you, the second.
Yeah.
The second things don't go their way.
I just found this. Apparently, two House of Representatives members, Kurt Schrader and Jared Golden, both Democrats, voted against the stimulus bill. Apparently because it contained provisions to raise the minimum wage to $15. And they believe that that's too much for the economy to handle at this moment.
Yeah, I know they removed that, but it's a little sad because I was looking forward to it. But, I was expecting it not to pass.
Yeah. But, by the way it looks, I feel like what you just said about preaching unity and things like that, I feel like this bill has nothing to do with unity. If not a single Republican voted for it and 3 Democrats voted against it,
Well, no, that's the one that included the 15. He
Well,
didn't
yeah,
vote
but still
for it
three-
with or without.
But still 3 Democrats voted against this bill at one point.
Yeah, in the House. I'm talking
Yeah.
about the Senate.
Well, 2 in the House, 1 in the Senate, so 3 Democrats in total.
Yeah. I don't get
So-
why Sienma didn't vote for it. I really
Um,
have no idea.
Maybe she didn't like the idea of it.
And like, I just
well-
like I know she's new, so like again, you would expect her to vote on party lines if she's a new senator.
Maybe she's trying to break party lines. Maybe she's trying to break that mold. Which, if she is trying to break that mold, kudos.
Good on her.
I give that to her. I don't know if this is the sword she's going to want to die on, if you know what I mean. But if she's trying to break party lines, good on her. But what I mean is, like, if they preached unity, Biden said, "I'm not going to pass a single bill that's not, that has no Republican support." He
Mhm.
said that.
Mhm.
He might have, said it backhandedly or something like that. But this had no Republican support. Not a single Republican supported the bill. 3 Democrats voted against the bill at one point in its evolution.
Mhm.
And Biden still signed it into law. That doesn't seem
Mhm.
like unity to me. Now, I understand some sites, some sources, and like polls say that a majority of Americans supported the bill. But I believe a majority of the Americans supported the bill because they don't know where the money's coming from, or even really where the money's going.
Mhm.
Because this money doesn't just come from thin air. This money's not just like from the
It doesn't
Bank
grow
of
off
the
trees.
United
It doesn't
States.
grow off trees.
Yeah.
This money comes from your pocket that you paid in taxes last year. That they're now just saying, you know what, you paid me $5,000 in taxes last year. Here's $1,400. You've been
I
a
know
good servant. You kept your mask on. Here's $1,500.
All I
What-
know is I want my stimmy, and I'm so pissed that I didn't get the first one. So like, I don't know. Anything
Apparently,
is
my
good.
family
with
got
me.
$7,000 in stimulus
Oh
money.
my god, I got nothing.
My family, not me personally. My family
Oh, no,
got
my-
$7,000 in stimulus money, and my family is mad about it.
My parents didn't get anything except for
didn't-
like base.
My family doesn't need the stimulus money. My dad didn't stop working the entire pandemic. He owns his own company. Did not stop working a day. The entire
Well, that's the
pandemic.
kind of thing about owning a small business. You can't stop working.
Yeah.
He didn't
Pandemic
stop
or
working
not.
a single day. Why is he getting $7,000 money? $7,000 in stimulus money.
7,000 money.
$7,000 in stimulus money when we don't need it.
Yeah, and
Where-
on the topic of that, I was actually talking with one of my coworkers yesterday about this, and he said specifically with people who have been unemployed for the entire pandemic. He's like, listen, like I get it, like it's hard to find a good paying job right now, but fast food places, for example, like literally every single fast food place is hiring. So if you like at the end of the day, you can find a job. If you're really that desperate for a job, you can work at a fast food place like McDonald's, Taco Bell, I don't know,
Hey, yo, Wawa,
Chipotle-
get on it. Email me
whatever.
back.
Wawa. Yeah, any of those. They're all hiring.
If
So
you didn't
at
know,
this
I applied for Wawa and they haven't responded.
At this point, if you're still unemployed, like honest to God, it's a little bit your fault, you know? Like
True.
just these are low paying jobs, but they're still a job.
Hmm.
So
I
just work
refuse
there.
to settle for Mickey D's.
It's not that bad.
Another thing, I don't know if you heard this, but Fox News' Greg Gutfeld, he said Republicans really missed an opportunity here, where they could have just added an extra $2 trillion onto this bill, because I mean, at this point in time, I mean, I can understand what he was saying, but I don't necessarily agree with it. What's 25 trillion in debt versus 29 trillion in debt? What's the difference? 4 trillion. But what he means is like 25 trillion in debt, 29 trillion in debt. You're in debt. You're not out of debt. We're still going deeper into debt when we put 2 trillion stimulus bill that we don't have the money to front. So why not just add 2 extra trillion to the bill and Give everybody a tax break, a tax rebate. Give people back the money they paid in taxes so that they can then invest that money. Because a lot of sources are now saying, like Fox and CNN and MSNBC, they're saying that a lot of the money that is going back into the community, these $1,400 stimulus bills or stimulus paychecks, are going to be used in the stock market. Apparently 190, I think it was $1 billion of this stimulus bill is going to go back into the stock market, estimated, because people are going to be investing it. People are going to be saving it, because that's all we've done is save our money. The last stimulus bill, people probably saved the money or spent it on groceries when they could.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing that this stimulus bill is going to do is it's just going to create inflation, because people are going to be saving this money or investing the money. No one's going to be spending it. I mean, my family, what are we going to do with the $7,000? Probably invest it or save it. Like, unless we want to go on, like, a $7,000 vacation because airfare is cheap now. But, like, to Europe or something. But, like, it's probably going to be saved. Or, you know, spent in the stock market or things like that.
Mm-hmm. And, like, this is one of the things that I really don't get, like, why they didn't give the money to college dependents. Because I know, like, at least in my situation, like, I kind of need the money, you know? Because, like, I don't know, there's less internships now, there's less research opportunities, and because of that, there's less ways for students to make money. Unless they're working off campus, you know? So, like, for students, it really is a little bit harder to find a job, even including what I said earlier.
Yeah, and I think what would have been smarter is, instead of spending $2 trillion of money that the U.S. government does not have, because realistically, the government does not have this money. This money is coming from taxpayer money. You're losing money to be then given it later. I want that to be clear for anyone who is watching this. You are losing money to just be given it again later. That is where this money is coming from. Why would it have not been better to give tax exemption or make or lessen restrictions on starting businesses now more than ever, when we lost millions of jobs that are never coming back because they were small business jobs, and families went bankrupt or families went under? Just average people, not big corporations, went out of business. Average people, your local, you know, grocery store, your local pharmacy that's not CVS or Walgreens, is out of business, and it's never coming back. Why not make it easier for these companies or new entrepreneurs to then start a business? Well, we wasted an opportunity here. All we've done is just perpetuate inflation, increase the debt, and make everything harder in the long run for college students, because now we have to deal with a $27 trillion debt.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only going to keep going up because Biden's not going to balance the budget. This Congress isn't going to balance the budget. The next president's probably not going to balance the budget.
Doesn't help with the 15 per hour thing coming out too.
And the $15 an hour minimum wage isn't going to help balance the budget either. It's only going to hurt the economy more.
I just learned about that too. So my original understanding of the bill was that the minimum wage would immediately become $15, but apparently it would become 15 by I believe 2025. It would go up to 9 immediately, and then I think it would increase every year.
I mean, regardless whether or not it goes up to 15 now or later, it's still going to basically tell small businesses, you need to pay people $15 an hour. Let's say a company can pay 10 employees $7.25 an hour. Now they're only going to be able to pay like 5 with $15 an hour, maybe even less. You've just cut 5 employees from the market because that small business can't handle this now. People don't understand that. The minimum wage is to help small businesses. I personally think we should get rid of the minimum wage, but the minimum wage being low is to help small businesses. The only people that are kind of being stingy about it are big business, like McDonald's or Amazon or Chick-fil-A, companies that can afford to spend $15 an hour and not cut employees.
Yeah, they just don't want to. They just don't want to get rid of their profits because big business is greedy.
If we really wanted to say, okay, $15 an hour minimum wage is going to be for the little guy, the only thing you're doing is hurting the little guy because less little guys can now be in the job force.
Mm-hmm.
$15 an hour minimum wage is only going to then decrease employment.
Mm-hmm.
It's just simple economics. You can just take any economics course in high school And it will tell you, if you increase the minimum wage, you're going to lower employment. You are going to increase unemployment.
And,
Simple.
like, it's just so funny because, like, I'm pretty sure the CEO of McDonald's came out and said, like, oh, yeah, like, we have no issues in states where we have to pay our employees $15 an hour. We still make just as much money. Okay, well, then why don't you do that everywhere? You know? Like, they just don't. It's not even they can't. They just don't want to. They just refuse to.
And I mean, I'm not super for regulating things, but if you want to put a $15 an hour minimum wage, because me personally, one guy cannot stop the federal government from instituting it. How about a better idea? How about you make big corporations, companies that make X amount and up, pay $15 and leave, small business paying $7.25?
When I was applying for Amazon, their base hourly is 10.
Well, they're allowed to do that.
Yeah, and that's because they're that big, and that I applaud them for that, because they realize how big they are. They're able to pay out that kind of money. But someone like McDonald's, do they do minimum wage, or do they $9.25 or?
Yeah, they can pay minimum wage and up, but usually most people are around like $7 to $8.
Okay.
I know they started me like a closer at $9,
Gotcha.
and I didn't even get up to $11 until like they were desperate for people.
Yeah. So it's different with every business, I guess, but I definitely understand what you're saying with you should make, if you want to pass this bill, only legislate it to bigger companies that refuse to actually pay $15 per hour.
And not even just that. I think that the federal government completely wasted an opportunity to actually be able to fix the economy. Now, some people are going to be like, the stock market's booming. The stock market's going to crash any minute now.
Yeah, it's going to go up and down and up and down, and it went really, really up previously. Now it's going to go really, really down.
The stocks are going up now because we have these vaccines coming out. And as soon as these vaccines come out and they're done coming out and there's nowhere left to invest, there's only one place for the stock market to go. And that's the plummet. Or if the vaccines end up blowing up in our faces and people start growing a third arm and the zombie apocalypse happens, then the stock market's also going to crash.
Oh, I wish that would happen. That'd be great.
I want a third arm.
I mean, and then it all just ties back into GameStop at the end of the day.
Oh my god.
I'll go back to Dogecoin.
And we're back. Greg, do you want to talk about your current event?
Sure. I mean, mine's not as spicy as this past one. It's actually kind of boring and kind of confusing. I wanted to talk about how Joe Biden has yet to host a solo press conference in the first 50 days of his presidency. Typically, I think the average is about like the first 20 to 30 days. A president does like a solo briefing. A lot of major news sources are covering it. ABC News, CNN News, Fox News, the New York Post. Everyone's covering it, and they're kind of criticizing Biden a little bit. Because some people claim that he's not being transparent. Some people aren't claiming that he's being straightforward, because he had a conference. I don't know if any of you saw this, but he did something with Nancy Pelosi. Like, they had like a discussion, and he asked Nancy Pelosi, he's like, I'll do whatever, ask me questions. And then the stream just cut. Like, it went to like the colored, bars, like just cut. The stream cut.
Mm-hmm.
He was willing to answer questions, and some people were saying, oh, the White House just wanted to keep him quiet because they wanted to get the bill out. They wanted to get the stimulus bill out. Okay, well, if we wanted to get the stimulus bill out, wouldn't it be in the president's best interest to then talk up the stimulus bill on his own? Wouldn't people want to hear from their president? He did do a State of the Union sort of thing. He addressed the American public by himself and about the vaccines, but didn't take any questions and just kind of left after the stream, which is kind of odd. I don't know. What do you guys think?
From what I heard online and just like through like news outlets and all that, is that the reason why they cut is because when you're addressing the House like he was addressing the House, right?
I'm not 100% sure. I think it was more just like a live feed between him and Pelosi.
I'm 90% sure he was addressing the House, and if you're addressing the House, you can't take questions. Like it's like a decorum thing. So like when he said that he was going to take questions, like you could see like Nancy Pelosi's face, like her eyes like got wide, like she was like, "What are you doing?" Because like it's just not the way that kind of address works. Like you just don't take questions. So apparently that's from what I've heard, that's why they cut. I can double check though.
I'm not 100% sure. I'm looking at this here. He was speaking to members of the House Democrat Caucus. I don't know if he was necessarily addressing Congress, but it seems like he was just speaking to the Democratic Caucus, and they just cut the stream.
Mm.
I don't know if that counts as the decorum or not, but ABC questions like, does this raise questions about accountability? Can Biden, be trusted? He's not addressing the union. He's hiding behind his press secretary, kind of. Like Donald Trump was the most spoken to president by the media. Like he addressed the media and answered questions almost every single day. And we haven't seen a single thing from Joe Biden. And he promised to be transparent. He promised to be open. He promised unity. But all we're getting is questions.
That's just politics doing, like, promises. They do that all the time.
Well, yeah, of course. But he promised to... He made a promise. Promises made, promises kept. Donald Trump's whole slogan.
Well, Donald Trump didn't build a wall, did he?
Well, he tried to.
He tried to.
Can't do much when the Congress tells you no.
Yeah, I know.
And they handle money.
Yeah.
I mean, promises have already been broken because where is my 2,000?
Where's my 2,000?
Where's my stimmy? Like,
I think we have... Is it a de facto? I think that's what it is. But Joe Biden is purely the facade. He's not... I don't think he's doing anything.
Vox News is claiming, like, oh, he's not doing it. Now, this is Vox with a V, not Vox.
Oh, Vox, okay, yeah.
Vox with a V. They're claiming that, oh, he was busy. He was busy handling the pandemic. What has Joe Biden done except for sign over 50 executive orders in the first 50 days?
If anything, Donald Trump handled the pandemic. He got everyone to do the vaccines. He put in billions of dollars into that.
Donald Trump did Operation Warp Speed, which, if he did not, nobody can claim this, we would not have a vaccine now if Donald Trump did not activate Warp Speed. Operation Warp Speed.
That's a cool name.
did you guys see the presidential announcement that Trump made about Operation Warp Speed?
It was funny. I thought it was so funny.
It was a little funny, a little embarrassing, and a little cringy, but like all mixed together.
Wasn't it like the coronavirus, better known the China virus?
Oh my
Something
god!
like in an official address.
Oh my god!
You wouldn't have these beautiful shots.
Let me try and find the picture. Oh my goodness!
It was really funny.
So funny.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of missed that.
It came from China. China.
I kind of missed that kind of press briefing and things like that. Those were funny. But besides that, I mean, we're not even getting that from Biden because apparently he's too busy. He's not too busy to, have a ceremony in the Rose Garden celebrating, the stimulus package.
Mm-hmm.
He's not, too busy for that, but, he's too busy to take questions during the Rose Garden event.
Mm-hmm.
This Rose Garden event also included 0 Republicans. Not a single Republican was there.
By choice or by
I mean, I am assuming by choice, but probably they weren't very invited.
Gotcha.
Considering they didn't vote for it.
Oh wait, Greg, before you continue, let me read what his official statement was. So it's on March 10th. He says, and I quote, "I hope everyone remembers when they're getting the COVID-19, often referred to as the China virus vaccine, that if I wasn't president, you wouldn't be getting that beautiful, quote, shot, unquote, for 5 years at best and probably wouldn't be getting it at all. I hope everyone remembers. And I hope that he remembers that Pfizer did not work with him and they did their vaccine independently.
You're gonna have these beautiful shots. These shots, they're beautiful. They're wonderful.
Best shots.
The best shots that have ever been shot.
The thing is, though,
Better than the flu shots. Trust me,
even-
they're beautiful. They're amazing.
even though that is funny and like kind of like cringy and awkward, it's still kind of true though. Not the China virus part. That's his own verbiage. The part about like not having a shot for an additional 5 years, if at all.
I get it, but I wish he would stop trying to take credit for Pfizer's vaccine specifically, because I know he tried to the one time, and then they were like, no, we're not. We're doing this independently, and you're lying. And they just said nothing.
Well, the whole thing about that is and I'm not gonna say like he was in the labs making the vaccine. He paved the way by removing red tape and saying you don't need the government will not get involved in your vaccine making. Do what you have to do. He
But then
literally paved the way by saying we're gonna clear the red tape. We're gonna open up the road. You drive your vaccines down it, and you figure out the best way, and then at the end of the day the FDA will approve it and we will send it out. Now that's not saying Donald Trump made these vaccines in the labs with test tubes, pouring the beakers back and forth. No, he did not do that. He did not have anything to do with that part of the process, but he made it so it would be easier for these vaccines to get out.
What is this, ammonium sulfate? Yeah, pour a bit in that.
Yeah, he
Fish soap, pour it in.
tried. Like, he did pave the way, I guess. But, like, the second that he was, like, trying to take credit for Pfizer's vaccine, it was just like,
Well,
what
Biden's
are
trying to
you-
take credit for the same thing.
I know, but he didn't make an official statement saying that he was taking credit for it. Was
2
it-
nights ago, or like the other night when he announced the vaccine things, he's like, "We did it! I did it! The vaccines are here, everybody!"
No, he was trying to take credit for Pfizer by basically saying that Pfizer was part of Operation Warp Speed when it wasn't. It was either him or
I think-
Vice President Pence.
I'm pretty sure Pfizer was able to be a part of Operation Warp Speed, right?
No, they weren't part of Operation Warp Speed. But they tried to take credit. They tried to say that they were, and then Pfizer did their own statement saying, "No, we made this independently. We are not part of your whatever you would call it."
Operation Warp Speed. I mean,
I guess.
regardless or not, Pfizer is only one of the 4 companies now to be producing vaccines. And Johnson and Johnson, things like that, they were able to be a part of Operation Warp Speed. If we had every major Democrat, Pelosi, Schumer, Biden at the time, were saying Operation Warp Speed is dangerous and dumb and stupid, and they don't like it. They didn't like Operation Warp Speed, and then now all of a sudden, we're praising the vaccines. Kamala Harris said, "I'm not taking Donald Trump's vaccine," as if she believed that Trump was in there making the vaccines, and now all of a sudden the vaccine is, let's take the vaccine. Everyone needs a vaccine. Now every American needs a vaccine, but not a couple months before her election was she saying, "No, we don't want the vaccines." I don't know.
Just give him a little credit. Like, don't 100% credit Trump, because clearly, Biden also did work through Operation Warp Speed. He did take it up, didn't he? He took it and then improved it a bit.
I don't think Biden touched it, honestly.
Yeah, I know he touched something. I think it was the way they're being distributed. But you can give Trump credit for part of it, because he, at the end of the day, he did create it. Whether you love him or you hate him, he's spitting facts. He did create it.
God.
But
I mean, regardless, I think that Biden needs to be doing more when it comes to addressing the American people. This is kind of getting to be a longer one. I can feel it.
Yeah, it is.
it's a good one, though.
Yeah.
I think we should wrap this one up here. Thank everyone again for watching. Please like and subscribe. Check out our Facebook and TikTok.
Adios.
I would have just ended it there.